the stream officially begins. Like, I've just got about a minute left. Oh,
there we go.
Greetings, denizens of the internet. You can call me Nitro Indigo, and welcome back to my extremely riveting live stream series of Monster Sanctuary. In the last episode, that was my phone going off from the alert on my Discord server, by the way. I tried the final boss and failed repeatedly, many times. So before I try challenging him again, I'm gonna go do some grinding, specifically the last of the dual challenges or whatever they're called. And I also kept changing my team around because I'm fickle, and also because I thought it might help.
Did it help?
Sort of. Dragoon challenge. I don't even think I've reached keep a dragoon yet in this file because I keep like saving the I keep saving the skipping all the optional bosses. Maybe I'll save those for the post game. That's what I mean. And I'm really hoping that I can finish the game in this stream. That would be cool.
But how dare they make you grind? I say that as a joke, but honestly, I don't like it when RPGs make me grind.
I mean, this game isn't that grinding heavy because level cap is so low. It's just that I suck at it. I know that sounds a bit counterintuitive because I've played this game so many times. This game is hard. And also, Let's Play curse. Or should that be?
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, it's more interesting It's more interesting content to fail. Apparently, I don't know.
Also, Casey's name just reminded me of something. When I was little, I thought the name Casey was spelled like the letters K and C.
It could be. That sounds like the kind of thing a parent would name their kid in like the 90s.
Cool,
or like
TJ.
They'd be like the main character of a or they'd be like that's the name of a character in a 90s cartoon or a 90s book. It's like, yes, our radical friend Casey, spelled K and C.
He's going by.
So he's totally radical, man.
Common in America, or is it? Or maybe other places too, but I don't really know anyone who goes by their initials personally, but then again, I'm out of touch.
Never met anybody who goes by their initials either.
I'm also thinking of DW from Arthur.
Is DW going by her initials? I thought her name was just DW.
No, it's her initials. It stands for, like, I want to say Garen Wayne, but that's not correct. That's a name that's mentioned in this musical called Blood Brothers.
What does DW stand for? In Arthur, not in texting.
Doctor Who.
C's sister was named Dora Winfred. Hold on. Her name is Dora Winfred,
Yeah.
who is apparently named after the long-deceased sister of Reed Winfred.
Okay then. Arthur lore. I watched Arthur a few times as a kid, but I never really was into it. Maybe because I was just more interested in watching Horrid Henry reruns, even though I hated that show. And also SpongeBob, because Nickelodeon airs that all the time.
Oh, okay, hold on. DW's name is Dora Winfred, and she's named after Theodore Reed, known as Theo, who is the patriarch of the Reed family.
God, is this actually like...
According to Wikipedia.
Oh, it's Wikipedia. I thought it might have been one of those weird fanfiction wikis that you find when you try to search
No, it's like... I mean, Arthur, it's not like, being weird and dark. It's like, it was probably in an episode dealing with loss or something. Because Arthur does that sometimes, teach kids lessons.
Oh yeah, it kind of reminds me of one of my favourite books as a kid was called Fairy Rescue, which on the surface just seems like a cutesy 5 to 8-year-old book, but it's the main character has asthma and she had a twin sister who died as a baby, and I haven't read it in years, but I always kind of appreciate it for being like introducing people to such serious subjects at a young age. I didn't really have that experience with TV shows, but I know other people have.
I've never watched Arthur, but I do know there's an episode where the school burns down, the school catches fire, and
Oh, yeah, the Mysterious Mr. Enter reviewed
some of the
that.
kids have PTSD because of it.
Yeah, it's called April 9th, and the Mysterious Mr. Enter reviewed it, and it's supposed to be an allegory for 9/11.
I mean, I guess. What is it with him in 9/11?
Oh yeah, I ever actually watched this Turning Red video. I just wasn't interested when it came.
Neither have I. I shouldn't be memeing on something I don't know anything about, but you know, it's just 9/11 and him in the same sentence. You know.
It is weird that it happened twice. Also,
Yeah,
if
it's.
my
If I
friend-
had a nickel for every time the mysterious Mr. Enter mentioned 9/11, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Yeah.
Okay, what did I interrupt? I'm sorry. Really
I
sorry.
was saying to say that my phone pinged again, and this time it was a low battery warning. Because even though I have the volume turned all the way down when I'm reading, when I'm doing these, I failed at this as well. When I'm doing these streams, so I can actually so I can read the chat on my phone. But it seems notifications aren't affected by the volume, so that's annoying, I guess. I'll try different.
Yeah, no, it's really annoying. This is why I don't have notifications on for like anything.
And why I like using vibration, to have it on vibrate. I'll change my
Yeah,
phone
I
to
always have my
vibration.
phone on vibrate, which does mean I kind of miss a lot of texts I get. I need to fix that.
I mean, sometimes I just don't get any sort of notification alerts, which is annoying. You know what else is annoying? Full protect is what the Targoats use. Basically, the full protect means that the monster, if you track one of the monster's allies, you'll attack the monster that uses full protect instead. It's a souped up version of a shielding skill that I can't remember the name of.
That's annoying.
Okay, this one definitely isn't going well. And also, honestly, the reason why DW from Arthur was on my mind in the first place is because recently I read her Trope Pantheon's profile because someone suggested an interaction with her on the profile I'm currently writing, specifically the main characters of My Little Pony Tales, which is turning out to be absolute bonkers.
I mean, yeah, that sounds about right.
My Little Pony Tales is a very weird show. But I actually kind of like it. It has a lot more thought put into it than you'd expect. The characters have multiple hidden depths and different living situations, and the songs are a bit of a hit and miss, to be honest.
I can imagine.
Hopefully I'll be third time lucky on this, but if I'm... Oh, I did the wrong one. Oops. I accidentally selected the top one instead of the... I'm just going to forfeit this. Okay, let me try the Dragoon challenge again.
No.
The Dragoon
That sucks.
platoon upon the moon. Maybe I won't send out Strawberry right away because its defences are quite bad.
Dragoon? It always like gets me that dragoons are real because it sounds like something Final Fantasy just made up. But like, no, they were according to Wikipedia originally a class of mounted infantry.
Yeah. Honestly, I associate Dragoon with like
literally
Fire Emblem
no
and a-
depiction of Dracoons
Actually, no, I know
in
Dragoons in Fire
any
Emblem.
media. I don't know. Maybe. Let's see. Dragoon, Fire Emblem Wiki.
Okay, there are.
Oh, good. It's not the fandom one.
I was also thinking
Yeah.
I might have been thinking of Pegasus Knights as well. Because I played a bit of the
yeah.
Shadow Dragons.
They don't seem to be a class. They seem to be a group. Yeah, I don't know much about Fire Emblem
Yeah, I played
besides
a bit of,
Three Houses and Engage.
Shadow Dragon, like the DS version, and a bit of the Awakening demo, and that's about it. And also, I know a lot about it from Smash Bros. Really. Remember when it was a meme?
I'm of the controversial opinion that Engage is better than Three Houses.
Okay, but I thought you didn't know much about Fire Emblem. Or have you played those?
I said I don't know much about Fire Emblem before Three Houses or Engage.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I played Engage in Three Houses, so I know about them, but other than that...
For a moment, I thought you were talking about the Nokia Engage, and I was a bit confused. That's a failed game console mobile
That's
phone
oddly
hybrid.
specific.
And you had,
I think you know a lot about...
And also, the cartridge slot was behind the battery.
Why would you... That seems... I don't know anything about game console design, but that doesn't seem like a good idea.
I think it might be like how on phone SIM cards used to be behind the battery, I think. But I could be wrong.
I mean, Nokia did make phones, so... Makes sense.
And it had a Crash Bandicoot game on it, and Kadikaris reviewed it once.
I do remember hearing about that. I don't remember if I watched the Kadikaris video on it, because...
It was in his Crash
I
Bandicoot
haven't watched him that much.
It's been a video about handheld Crash Bandicoot games.
Yeah. It's like, it might have been the Kadikaris video, but I know Ant Dude also had a video about Crash Bandicoot that I did watch, so it might have been from that.
Watched some of Ant Dude's videos, but I honestly don't really watch that many video game review channels anymore. I just got bored of them, really. There's not any deeper meaning.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of video game review channels in general, but something about Ant Dude is real good to me. Also, he's like one of the 5 Kirby YouTubers on the platform, so...
I mean, I remember watching this YouTuber who did a lot about Kirby lore and complaining about how the fact that they had to explain a lot of the plot details about Planet Robobot behind the scenes.
Listen,
Like they somehow thought that...
no, that's an understandable opinion, because you only explain lore on Miiverse posts. You can't find those anymore outside of archives. Because Miiverse doesn't exist
A
anymore.
moment of silence.
Nintendo snapped away. Yeah. Miiverse shut down and everybody was sad. Except me, because I never used it, so I don't know anything about it.
I used it a lot.
I just know that...
I remember people used the YouTube...
I just know that why would you know...
I remember people used the YouTube community on there to just post art of whatever, so eventually they banned banned drawings from it, or whatever they're called officially, which is kind of stupid.
I don't know, get better content moderation.
Of course, there were memes like, why can't Metroid crawl?
I read about that on TV Tropes like once, so I don't actually know anything about that one either.
Once I remember posting...
I know it's of origin, but I never saw it.
Yeah, I never saw that directly either. Okay, I've got a reward box free. But anyway, I remember once on Miiverse I posted a screenshot of me opening the first treasure chest in Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap, and I got a warning saying I should have marked it as spoilers, which was kind of stupid. I'm saying stupid a lot today. Get banned from Treehouse TV. Okay, if you don't know the context, I've made a reference to this in the note.
I don't know the context for that.
You do or don't?
I don't. I need it explained.
So, Treehouse TV is a Canadian TV channel for babies, and when they aired My Little Pony Friendship is Magic on there, they beeped out every instance of the words stupid and loser.
Wow. That's on another level.
I just realised I've got
Like,
two of these. I think one is that one dark shifted or is it the regular one? I don't. It's dark.
standards and practices, stupid. I have thoughts on the television industry. Because, like, that's one of the things that I actually know things about.
Yeah. I also remember in this Little Shy Finn who does like cinema sin style videos about My Little Pony Friendship is Magic episodes, and occasionally other My Little Pony media. He once said that there's a scene in one
God, I
episode where a
hate cinema
character
sins.
slaps his brother in the face, and he like shows screenshot proof the standards and makes his brother hit himself, and he showed like a screenshot saying that standards and practices were okay with it as long as he didn't hit his face.
I haven't watched My Little Pony in a while, so I have no idea what scene that could be.
It was in the episode to Change a Changeling with the flashback where Farix is bullying
yeah,
Thoraz.
no, I do remember that now. Yeah, I remember that now.
Okay, here's the boss I was stuck on. Maybe you'll be my good luck charm.
I hope I am. That'll be a first. Nah, I'm kidding. Like, I say that'll be a first, but actually, I have a history of good luck. Honestly, just with Pokemon, it's like any game that has a routes in it, I will encounter it immediately the moment I get into the route it's on, even though it's supposed to be a 5% chance.
Okay. It's kind of like, I genuinely do seem to perform better when you're with me in this series. Maybe because I'm
Moral support.
Yeah. Because I don't feel as lonely.
Happy to help. You mentioned that it was like the channel you were talking about was like Cinema Sins Eskins. Just made me think about I really hate Cinema Sins.
Yeah, honestly,
like maybe I had a point.
When I was a teenager, I watched them a lot, but eventually I just got bored because it was just the same jokes over and over again.
Yeah, like Cinema Sins, I feel it's like I'm not gonna blame it entirely, but it's definitely partially responsible for like poisoning the review space with cynicism and
absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
Also now it's the age of hour-long video essays. Although I think the really popular show sucks trend has died down now, but I'm out of touch, as I said.
Yeah. Honestly, I almost prefer the video essays because
Oh, my controller stopped.
I mean, honestly, even before I knew about whatever the fuck is happening, and I barely know whatever the fuck is happening with the Nostalgia Critic. I still didn't like the Nostalgia Critic because he's just, duh.
I've got it working again.
Yahoo.
I got the controller working again. Honestly, I've watched a few Nostalgia Critic videos, but they all go in one ear and out the other. All I can really remember, the only video of his that actually really sticks in my memory is the food fight one. Never really been a fan.
I also, what am I trying to say? Oh, right. I don't like the skits. Like, I'm probably one of the few people who finds the skits just kind of annoying and distracting.
Yeah, like, in reviews, like, actually in general, I just don't really care about the storyline reviews, except for, like, that one, Mysterious Mr. Enters. The only time I've ever cared about the storyline of, the meta storyline, in a review is in Mr. Enter's top 10 modern SpongeBob episodes video, where it begins with basically a bunch of cartoon characters putting him on trial for hating SpongeBob, and also there's a thing with the recurring old man giving advice. That's pretty interesting. It actually is relevant to the reviews. It's not just filler in between the reviews.
Yeah, like the Nostalgia Critic is partially responsible for poisoning the review space with just terrible cynicism, especially since I can't even tell if the people who are making these reviews actually hold this opinion or are purposely. They hold the opinion, but the reason they hold the opinion is not because they really cared about like watching the show. It's because they purposely looked for bad things in it because that gets clicks, and they're so used to just that they've been conditioned by reviewers like the Nostalgia Critic to only look for bad things. The Nostalgia Critic doesn't even review films. It's like he just lists bad things that are in them and makes bad jokes at their expense. Yeah. He's vaguely okay at writing comedy skits, but most of the people who copy him aren't. And even then, I still can't stand his skits because I just want to hear the review, man.
So I kind of
You should
like
integrate your jokes into the review.
Exo-Paradigm Gamer style approach. That's what I based my early reviews on, only they were much shorter, obviously. Where he goes like in depth about everything, like all the game mechanics, because he's a video game reviewer, and story, and he divides his review into segments, and the jokes are actually part of the review instead of just being skits in between it. Unfortunately, he hasn't uploaded in like a year.
Save your sarcastic remarks for during the review. I'm really hoping that, like, I'm out of touch as well, but I'm really hoping the cynical, angry reviewer trend is dying down now.
I think it already has.
Nobody was good at it. Yeah, it's like, I hope it's dead now.
Yeah, I kind of most YouTube channels I watch at the moment are ones that like focus, or YouTubers I watch are ones that are mostly focused on one franchise, like Quantum Hippologist does My Little Pony, what's his name? Mr. TARDIS does Doctor Who. Stu Bagfull was originally known for Doctor
Surprising.
Who, but now he just mainly talks about TV shows in general, but I still like hearing him talk.
Yeah, I generally only look at I only look at reviewers that agree with my opinion because I really do live in an echo chamber. I really admit that.
Well, I like sometimes being exposed to another
that's
opinion,
not
but if it's
true.
just someone complaining for the sake of it, then I probably won't be interested.
I that's not true. I don't watch reviewers that'll generally like bash things that I like, but like some of them will hold, like, I don't like this part of the game that I did like part of that game, and you know what? I respect that. That's an interesting take on this game that I never thought of.
Like Power Rangers Dino Charge review, but the first episode is like an hour long, but it only covers like the first episode of the show. The first part of the review is an hour long, sorry, and yet he spends like most of it either ranting about how he doesn't like the theme song because he has hypersensitivity, which I mean is a personal problem, but I feel like that's one of those very subjective things that's not going to apply to everyone. And then he also gives like an exhaustive list of every time Power Rangers and Super Sentai have mentioned the KPG extinction. It just goes on forever. We defeated you, Marduk. Looks like we thwarted your grand plan. Pa, you might have defeated me, but the Master is still with me. Oh my gosh, this is Doctor Who. Master, grant me and my monsters the strength that we need to destroy our opposition. Master, have you abandoned me? I always served you faithfully. What became of our pact? Look.
You're a master of banning you because you're a chump.
Something is emerging from his body. You don't say. Stop trying to be the audio descriptive track. It's like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon where the characters point out describe everything they're looking at, even though these games don't have voice acting, so you can't even use the excuse that it's for blind people. Like, I'm not trying to be vexed. Like, I don't have anything. Oh gosh, that sounded a bit more.
Vaguely.
If you know what I mean.
Kinda get it, because it's a bit harder to. Sometimes it's a bit hard to tell. Like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, especially, has some graphics that it's kind of hard to tell what is going on. These pixel art games, but also it's still annoying. Yeah, it's like old comic books. Just like, oops! Oh no! He's become a giant dragon. Also, was there any foreshadowing for this, or did he just have someone just have this guy?
If you notice this monster is called the Mad Lord, it kind of looks like the Mad Eyes, and Marduk is associated with those. I'll get more into this later, but spoilers. And this has gone horribly badly wrong. If I fail this, that means I'll have to redo the boss before this as well, and I really don't want to do that, so I'm just going to revive everyone.
That reminds me that I still haven't finished Pokemon Legends Arceus, because I I couldn't beat Giratina, and it wasn't that I was bad. It's not that I like don't have. It's not that I think I can't do it or like, oh, I can't beat it, so I'm just going to quit. It's like I'm just kind of lost in a bit of interest. I'll get around to it someday.
I've had that. Yeah, I couldn't beat the boss before Giratina, and I'm probably gonna have to do Marduk all over again. But
I haven't been able to beat the Elite Four in Pokemon Platinum but that's not because I'm necessarily bad. It's because I accidentally reset the game to an earlier save that that my Pokemon aren't as good, and it's gonna take forever to build them back up. So I just kind of.
Well, we were playing a game for like an hour and then accidentally turned my DS off without saving.
And like the thing about like early Pokemon games is people are like, oh, I miss when things were there was no EXP. It's like it takes forever to grind your way up to a reasonable level, especially with your especially because like a lot of my Pokemon just didn't have a type advantage or had a type disadvantage against certain Pokemon.
I remember when like people complained about the experience sharing X and Y where it was optional.
You kind of get it with like it being mandatory, with like it, but also like I don't care. I don't care about your problems. I'm sorry.
I think the reason why people object to
Sounds
it
like a
is
you
because
problem, not me problem.
It's because of EVs. If you don't know what EVs
I mean,
are,
some people just want the
Pokemon stat
challenge.
thing. It'll take too long for me to explain, so look it up. It's also officially called base points for some reason.
Weird. Yeah, I don't know. I think I mean I can get like being mad. Like I want to do. I want that. Some people want the challenge of not having all their Pokemon level up at once. I don't, so I don't care. Honestly, like even it's kind of funny, because when I played Pokemon Black 2, my grandma accidentally bought me a pirated version on one of those, one of those cartridges from like China. Yeah, and it's like, so it wasn't like it was a copy of Black 2 with the it was the ROM hack Blaze Black 2. So I ended up, and I had more trouble with that than I had with. I mean, I had an easier time with that than I had with Platinum, and it was the harder ROM hack. It was the ROM hack designed to be harder.
Okay. So I'm not sure if I have a Dodo or not. Let's see if I filtered by bird type monsters. Yeah, I've got a Dodo, but it's some more monsters I never really used.
It's just called a Dodo?
Yeah.
Man. I kind of wish I had been able to like record my playthrough of Blaze Black 2, because it was honestly really entertaining for me.
Yeah, when I started YouTube, I really wanted a DS capture card, but they're really expensive, and I think you can only get them in America, where I don't live. If anyone
That's
wants to
weird.
know.
America, the land of DS capture cards.
Well, no, it's 3DS.
I-
No, it's 3DS capture cards that are region locked, I think. Because 3DS is region locked for some reason. Because that was just the thing everyone did back then, I guess.
Yeah, the Switch is not region locked. I know, because my grandma accidentally bought somehow managed to get a copy of Pokemon Scarlet from like, I don't remember what country it was from.
Do you remember what language the
It
box
wasn't
was
from
in?
America. I could check, but I don't feel like getting up, because I'd have to leave my computer to go and find the box.
Well, actually, when my grandparents accidentally got me this Pet Shop game, and the box was in French. Fortunately, the game had multiple languages in it, but it was a bit weird.
Yeah, it's really funny, because the game did default to English, even though it was not an English game.
It defaults to the system's language.
Yeah.
Also, how come Pokemon games let you choose your language at the start if all the languages they come in are in the system, I think. Or at least, actually, I'm not sure if Chinese was the 2 versions of Chinese were on the 3DS, but they're on the Switch. And also, I think, yeah, Pokemon translations are definitely done by different people from Nintendo of America. Nintendo
I mean,
games.
why would you?
First and second party Nintendo games, because they're not in as many languages and they're not in as many dialects.
I don't know. Maybe you want to play a game in a different language than your system language. Some people do that.
I've done that a few times. Just change
Maybe
the
like
system
your
language, which are like old-fashioned.
maybe your system language is like in English, so that the Switch can be used by. Your Switch is used by multiple people, so the system language is in English because everyone can understand it. But you want to play your specific copy of Pokemon in French because that's your native language. I don't know. That's a situation I just made up.
I think I'm gonna have to go on another grinding mission. I might donate this. I'll probably donate this dodo egg to the cause. The craft box. Oh, that could be useful because I need.
And also, you gotta know what all the all the different language versions are, so you can theorize.
Like how in only the French translation of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet mentions that Kieran is 14, which actually does make a lot of sense. Like, it makes sense that he would be 14, but can we consider...
No, it's really... He is the funniest Pokemon villain because he's not evil, he's just 14.
Yeah.
He's so chuny.
Yeah. And I was a mess when I was 14, so I can definitely relate. What is my keeper rank anyways? Keeper Knights, okay. Quite behind then.
You wanna be a master of... masters, I guess.
Just realised all that food I bought was worse than stuff here. Should I go... Oh gosh, this game is really hard. Maybe I'll just... Should I go fight a champion monster? Because I know where they are, but I don't really want to feel like I'm wasting time, so... I guess I'll go back to the pier. Oh, my phone's almost run out of battery, which means I won't be able to read the chat anymore, but nobody's in the chat anyway, so...
Don't you... Actually, I don't have a plug... No, I have a plug near my laptop. Or... Are you using a laptop or a desktop?
Desktop.
Okay. I mean, most desktops do have USB ports. You could just... And that lets you charge your phone.
Oh,
Does your phone use a USB?
Yeah, but my charger's on the other side of the room and I don't really want to get out either. Maybe I should just...
That's fair. Setting up is lame. Let's just sit here and die. Humanity's already...
But sitting down for too long and then standing up suddenly can actually kill you because of blood circulation or something.
Damn. I guess I just never get up again. Imagine that's how you die. That's gotta be embarrassing. I'm actually gonna stop talking about this because I thought of a joke that I cannot say.
Okay. So many dumb ways to die.
I remember that. I remember when everybody was playing the game. The game of that.
I heard of it. Someone brought their smartphone into school when it was that time when not everyone had a smartphone. Yay!
I remember that. Back in the day, it's always like you were watching over the shoulder of that guy who was cool and brought his video games to school.
Yeah, well, we weren't allowed to bring games consoles to my school or any school I've been to. Is it an American thing? I mean, I've known people who smuggled their handhelds into school, but that's not quite the same thing. When like you have people trading Pokemon.
Yeah, you kind of you. It depends on the school. A lot of schools do have a rule against it. Some schools don't, and most kids don't listen anyways.
Also, I think I might change Lion's skill set again because, to be honest, like obviously I'm not going to be able to fill out this skill tree, so I might as well just allocate the points elsewhere. Maybe it'll help me more.
They're all. In elementary school, I remember they banned Pokemon cards. I don't remember why.
Oh, I remember they banned Pokemon cards
Listen to
from my
that
school
either.
for a bit. It's probably because people kept arguing over them or something.
They banned Beyblades because somebody got hurt.
Oh gosh, that also reminds me of fidget spinners. There weren't many at my school, and they were really popular back towards the end of my time in school anyway. But, like, I heard all these stories about them being
Fidget
banned.
spinners annoy me. Fidget spinners annoy me because they took something that was supposed to be a useful STEM toy and turned it into a fad. But yeah, I remember back when they were popular.
I just remember when I heard one spinning in the classroom once, and they sounded like a train. Like, have you ever been in a train station and you just hear the sound of the wheels on the tracks and it's really loud?
I don't know. I don't see it. I think you just watch a lot of Thomas.
No, it's like...
Which is not a bad thing.
Like,
I'm going to go on the record. I'm just kind of...
various, like, actual train stations I've been to.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not... I've never been to... I don't go to a lot of train stations, though.
I don't go to train stations
because I
on a regular
don't take the train a lot.
Because I kind of don't really need to, but if you've ever been to London, you'll have to, basically. Because that's the best, most efficient way of transport. I've been to London a few times.
Yeah. I don't go to train stations often. Sometimes when I go to NYC, I take the subway, but like the people who are in the subway are louder than the trains themselves. Because that's just how New York is.
Also, I really like... I can't remember what it... let's see. I think Darnation has this passive that gives it a buff whenever an enemy takes status damage, but I could be wrong. I'll have to read it again, because I just read it earlier and I've forgotten now.
Usually I solve all my problems by hoarding healing items and spamming them.
I don't really use the healing items very often in this game, because I just keep forgetting about them, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the same thing with me, is I forget all the healing items during the most of the game, and then when I get to the boss, I just hoard healing. I just spam healing items. And actually, I've been thinking about my Pokemon Blaze Black playthrough a lot, and it's like, it's very entertaining that the way that the way that I won a lot of battles is my Lucario knew Copycat, so every time they pulled out a Dragon Pokemon, I just use Copycat on their outrage and kill them. As you know, dragons aren't super effective against fighting or steel types, so I don't have to deal with that shit.
Dragon.
Yeah. There's also, it's a really good ROM hack because all of the gym leaders have good counters for their weaknesses, and I had to work around those, or just spam healing items and hope I didn't die.
Reminds me of Temtem, where like usually the Dojo Masters teams will have like a sort of type theme, but then they'll have a weird oddball. I can't really think of any specific examples off the top of my head. But there's only one of them who uses a monotype team.
Interesting. I wish I could make my own ROM Hacker fan game, but I don't know how to code, and I don't know anybody who knows how to code. And I could like try to recruit one off the internet, but listen, I can get if an artist or a writer is interested enough in a project, I can hypothetically get them on board for free. I prefer to pay them, but I don't have money, so I could get them on board for free.
Like,
I've never met a programmer who works for free.
Yeah, I've had all these ideas for collaborative projects, but I don't really have the funds or the clout to get people interested, or maybe I just need to be more assertive. But like, remember I was talking on Discord about my idea to do a fan dub with multiple voice actors of season 1 of Thomas and Friends, and I never went anywhere. Partly because I couldn't get anyone interested except Tessellating Hexagons, and partly because copyright.
Honestly, voice actors actually decently. It's not impossible to get voice actors on unpaid. There's a site that I have an account on this site because I am vaguely interested in getting into voice acting. It's called Casting Call Club, and you can put up, like, it's what it says. You can put up casting calls for stuff, like, and sometimes people will apply.
Well, speaking of Thomas and voice actors, in one of the Unlucky Tugs videos, he had these story segments where where the characters are voiced by different people, and in one of them, he got the voice actor who originally voiced the character in the actual CGI show to voice him again. It's specifically if you need more I've tried to leave out character names just for the sake of clarity, but if you need more information, just go watch this video called The Complete History of Donald and Douglas.
I see.
And I think it just says in the credits that like he saw the voice actors listing on like a voice actor for hire website and like didn't expect him to accept it, but he did. I think his name's Joe Mills. That's it. The voice actor is called Joe Mills, and the character is called Douglas. He's Scottish. Well, the character is. I don't know about Joe Mills. See, one of the things I kind of like about CGI Thomas is just hearing different accents, because I'm just so used to American programs where everyone either sounds like have like exaggerated cartoon voices that nobody really has in real life. If you know what I mean. Like, I remember when I was watching a My Little Pony Friendship is Magic episode, I think it was Top Bolt, but I can't remember. I was able to instantly identify that like one of the characters was voiced by a fan as part of a Make-A-Wish thing, because she sounded like a normal person, while everyone else has like really squeaky, exaggerated voices. They're not necessarily annoying. It's not like My Little Pony Generation 1, which makes me want to stab myself in the ear with a fork. Just go look up Don't Go It Alone online from the original My Little Pony, the movie. It is horrible to listen to. Actually, don't look at it.
I mean, I expect it to sound, most fans can't voice act because they're not voice actors. That's the thing that got me about the I watched my first time I ever watched One Piece was the live action version, and I tried to go back and watch the anime version, but it was too weird not hearing Luffy sound like a white woman instead of an actual person.
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't really watch dubbed live action stuff very often because it just feels a bit weird. Like, I've watched a movie called Run Lola Run several times, but only in the original German, even though I once borrowed a DVD which had an English option, because I think I'm just too used to the original German, and also because since it's live action, I just get distracted by how the voice acting doesn't match the lip movements.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to get lip movements to sync up with live action. That's the very interesting thing about dubbing when it comes to Japanese stuff. Like, just in general for anything, is Japan is the kind of language where you can say a lot with very little. So you kind of have to figure out how to do that in English, where you can say a little with a lot.
Oh gosh, if you think that's bad, English actually, even though it's quite similar to other Western European languages, it actually uses a lot less syllables. English has a lot more single syllable words than other closely related languages, meaning the timing problem isn't as bad as it would be in like French or something. Whereas and also in French you can't you have to include words like articles all the time, and in a sentence you can't just omit them for the sake of brevity. So like
French.
You end up using more words to say the same thing. I can read French pretty decently, but I can't understand spoken French, and that's probably because I wasn't really taught how to understand spoken French properly. Like, sometimes they get us to watch videos with subtitles, but I was just too busy paying attention to the subtitles to hear too busy reading the subtitles to hear what people were saying, because it's really hard for me to read and listen to things at the same time. I end up tuning one of them out. Is this
yeah, I get that. With foreign dubs for me, with foreign subtitle stuff for me, yes, but I always turn on subtitles for basically everything I watch, partly so I can hear better, which isn't partly so I can understand what's being said better, which isn't always how it works because sometimes subtitles suck.
I also remember
And partially because sometimes it's really sometimes the subtitles are funny.
I also remember this when I was very little, I accidentally turned on the subtitles when I was watching Rupert Bear, and I got really upset for some reason because when I was a kid, I got upset over the most random things.
That's how kids work.
Like I was scared of the light switch knob in my bedroom.
Sorry, that's... I can't judge. I was scared. I watched my friend play Five Nights at Freddy's once, and for the longest time, I was scared that Freddy Fazbear was going to jump out of my computer and kill me.
Well, I mean, that's a horror game, so that's something that's understandable to be scared of. I remember also being scared
Yeah,
of
but like, the specific thing, the specific thing of he's going to jump out of my computer, like, that's so specific.
Being scared of Fireman Sam for a while after this episode, I saw an episode where someone breaks his leg. So I'm definitely not going to win this.
I also thought Bloody Mary was real.
What is a Bloody Mary anyway, besides a cocktail?
It's basically if you say Bloody Mary's name in the mirror, in the bathroom, now in front of a mirror 3 times fast, she comes out of the mirror and tries to murder you.
I thought that was Beetlejuice. Maybe it's both. Maybe Beetlejuice is referencing that.
Two monsters can have the same thing, and I think Bloody Mary came first.
And there's also a Hail Mary, which I think is just supposed to be someone's like final dramatic action. But I'm not really sure what it means.
Yeah, so Hail Mary has nothing to do with the cocktail, with any kind of Bloody Mary.
Alright, Bloody Mary's was a nickname for Mary Queen of Scots, right? I vaguely remember
I mean, I have no idea.
her in history, but history wasn't my favourite subject. We made it a lot about British monarchs. And also, I think she's always called Mary Queen of Scots, so is her title not Queen Mary, kind of like how Princess Diane is actually called Diane Princess of Wales, but everyone calls her Princess Diane because it's quicker, because it's shorter.
I don't know. I'm not British.
And honestly, now when I think of Princess Diana, I just think of this movie called Amélie, which I've had to watch in French a few times, because in a French lesson, because it takes place on the day she died, which isn't actually relevant to the story at all. It's just supposed to show that the main character Amélie pays attention to little things rather than big ones.
Is that supposed to be a little thing or a big one?
As in, like, she doesn't pay attention to this major headline event, and she's just more interested in this box she found under her bed. And then she goes to find who left the box there.
You know what? Pop off, Queen. I'd be more interested in that too. Like, I mean, if the president could die, and that's not important. That doesn't really affect me in any way, so I would just move on with my day.
When was the last? Oh gosh, like, world leaders don't have. Unfortunately, the president of the United States hasn't died while in office for decades. I think the last one was John F. Kennedy, which I think was.
I have no idea.
Incidentally happened he was assassinated on the day before Doctor Who aired. And I know this from watching a few documentaries, so that would have been the 22nd of November 1963. Which apparently the
Last
first
president to die in office was, in fact, John F. Kennedy.
Yeah,
No president. Yeah. Ronald Reagan was shot and wounded severely 2 months after his inauguration, though.
Gosh. And also, is it true that like, in America,
I'm not going to say anything about that.
you have to memorise the names of all the presidents? Is that thing that's still done?
Not when I was in school.
Like, I was never like taught to memorise the names of all the monarchs. Like, I think literally I've only know about the Stuarts because of horrible histories. I've never learned about them in school. I don't even know when they were.
You have more monarchs than we have presidents, though.
Yeah, because the UK is a really old country. Like, I remember seeing this video by Wonder
Yeah, but I don't remember needing to memorize them.
Yeah,
memorize
about how, like, it's hard to quantify what the oldest country is, but his like contenders were like China and the United Kingdom.
United Kingdom doesn't even really count. It's probably cribbing off of all the other things it took over.
It's 4 countries in a trench coat. Okay, the Republic of Ireland
Yeah.
apparently technically isn't a country, but no, not the Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland. The Republic of Ireland is definitely a country. I misspoke. I apologise to the entire population of the Republic of Ireland for this.
Yeah, they'd be very mad at you. But like, I mean, Northern Ireland is mad too. How's that? How's that whole? You know, I don't actually expect you to know this because who cares? But I mean, I don't pay attention. So, but like, how's that whole Irish unification thing going?
I don't know.
Because I heard about that.
Last time I heard anything about not how Northern Ireland is running in news, they were talking about her political devolution, which basically means it's delegation, but it rhymes with evolution because reasons. Also, fun fact: the opposite of evolution is involution because they both come from the Latin root meaning roll, as in Volvo, the car company. And evolve originally meant to unroll, at least according to Rational Wiki.
Interesting.
Which is basically a wiki.
Is that even trustworthy?
Rational Wiki is basically a wiki that makes fun of pseudoscience. Some of their articles are quite funny, like the page quote for someone called Ray Comfort is quite funny, but I don't really want to say on YouTube because it's a bit naughty. Okay, I'm making it sound worse than it actually is. It's just making fun of how weird his name sounds, basically.
I don't like. I've always been wary of that one because it feels kind of off to me for some reason.
Like, I feel like the only wiki that's similar to it in tone is the Transformers wiki, and I've barely read that because I'm not into Transformers. I watched bits of various Transformers cartoons as a kid, but I'm honestly just kind of intimidated by how huge it is and how every Transformers thing is apparently the worst thing ever.
I mean, when you think about it, that's how My Little Pony works too.
Yeah, but I feel like, is there actually more Transformers stuff than My Little Pony stuff? Because I feel like there's more Transformers, but they're around the same age. So...
I think there's more Transformers stuff.
There's like a million different
Transformers is a boys show, quote unquote boys show, so it gets more, so it gets more stuff.
Yeah, like, yeah, kind of reminds you like My Little Pony only has like what 6 main. Actually, I'm not saying main continuities. It's had 5 generations, and some of those generations have reboots within them. So there's Generation 1, there's Tails, Generation 1.5, there's Generation 2, which didn't get a cartoon, but it did get a game and some weird magazine comics. And then there's Generation 3, and then Generation 3.5, Generation 4, Friendship with Magic, and Equestria Girls, which is a spin-off, and Generation 4.5, which is Pony Life, and then Generation 5. How many were there?
Yeah, it's like yeah, My Little Pony wasn't mainstream until really mainstream, quote unquote, until Friendship is Magic.
I think it was actually really popular in the 80s, but I wasn't alive back then, so what would I know? I mean, my mom
like
really
before that, it was just like it was the little girl cartoon. It was the little girl cartoon. It was the little girl toy that you gave your daughter on Christmas.
It doesn't help that the My Little Pony G3 was direct to DVD, so it's not like people would just casually bump into people. It was a bit like it's not like people could just watch it by accident. Is what I mean.
Yeah, you know, channel surfing.
Gosh, I'm nearly. Oh gosh, I just noticed the screen's really behind the footage. That's or at least because I keep having to tab out and press a bit to check to exit the game window in order to check what time it is. Because normally I end these at 5 PM or basically when it's been an hour roughly.
What almost has been? It's 11:53 over here for me.
So I've got 7 minutes to the hour, not 7 minutes from the hour, or 7 minutes past to the hour.
To the hour.
Although it wouldn't really be that helpful if I say the stream ends at X minutes past the hour or something, because some places have half-hour time zones, like Australia, but only in the summer, and Nepal, which has quarter-hour time zones, as in it's like UTC plus somewhere however many hours in 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna try and untangle whatever that's supposed to mean. I hate time zones.
Time was invented by Big Quartz to sell more clocks.
Yes, exactly. Daylight savings time shouldn't even exist at this point because it only existed because of farmers that don't need it anymore.
means that in December it gets dark at 4 p.m. here. But if like the clocks went forward in the winter instead of going back to the default, then that would mean that the sun wouldn't set until 5 p.m, which is a bit more reasonable. Because I know I was in high school sixth form, I had to wait outside the school for a bus that was usually late when it was starting to get dark in December. And really terrible.
Is daylight saving just a thing that's everywhere?
Well, not everywhere.
I'm always confused by that.
It's not even everywhere in the United States of America, but it's in a lot
Is
of
it like? Yeah. It's always like it's like that feels like a very specifically American thing, but I've also heard like non-Americans talk about it.
They might call it different things like the British. It's called the time zone I'm currently in is called British summertime instead of daylight saving. Although some people call it daylight savings time. And I watched this YouTuber called Dapper Dinosaur.
Of course, they threw their name in it.
He lives in Arizona and he talks about that a lot. And he says that Arizona doesn't do time zones, but the Navajo reservation, which is inside Arizona, does, which is a bit confusing. Well, not time zones, it doesn't do daylight savings time. Of course it does time zones because that's how clocks work.
Yes, I don't think you can, not do time zones. I mean, not do time zones.
Time is important and I am a clock. I really don't want this to be another
Clocks are taking over.
The clocks are taking over. Is that a quote from something?
No, I just pulled that out of my ass. Pulled it out of a hat like a rabbit.
Honestly, if you're wondering about the big quartz thing, it's because clocks contain quartz, and I know this because I watched a video about the name of Kamen Rider Geo, not to be confused with Power Ranger Zeo or Kamen Rider Zedo or whoever, which is actually how Japanese people pronounce that letter, so I was right.
Why do you pronounce it Zed? Zed sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like the king of. It's supposed to be like the king of quartzes or something, because clocks have quartzes in them. It's been a while since I've seen
Just like in Minecraft.
Also, I haven't seen any Kamen Rider. I've seen reviews of it though, like Pomelo Retro's review of Kamen Rider Black and RX and Masked Rider. Masked Rider is honestly looks like a fever dream. Imagine Power Rangers, but even more cringe and with a Furby in it.
That is. I'm sorry. I'm still thinking about the whole Zed versus Z thing. It's like that is the biggest the biggest gripe I have with Pokemon ZA, the new Pokemon game that's going to come out. I'm going to have to argue with Brits over whether it's pronounced Zed or Z.
Well,
I must fight for Z supremacy.
Which came first, Z or Z? But I mean, there's a lot of letter sounds that already end with E. Letter names that already end with the E sound, so it's easier to tell them apart if you just mishear them.
I mean, I think that's kind of faulty logic. It just makes more sense for it to be Z instead of... Is there I don't think there's any letter that even resembles Z in its pronunciation, so it doesn't really make sense. I don't know. I'm against it. It shouldn't be pronounced Z. Because that's not how it sounds when you use it as a letter. Like, to me, Z, when you pronounce Z, it sounds like Z, not Zed. Use, like, zebra. See? Like, that's because there's an E there, but still.
What if it's a zebra?
That's terrible, but that's terrible, but I love it.
No, that is genuinely the British
That's a terrible joke.
word.
I'm sorry, it is?
Yes.
Wow, never mind. Wow, okay, yeah, sure. Why not? That just... that broke my brain.
I am really struggling with the final boss. I normally do in my playthroughs, so I'm going to see if I can beat him next week. Until then, stay interesting!